Imagine a vast continent stretching from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific, long before the idea of the United States even existed. For thousands of years, this land was home to hundreds of Native American nations, each with its own languages, traditions, stories, and systems of life. Of Florida, these communities lived in harmony with nature, cultivating crops, hunting, trading, and building deeply spiritual cultures. This was America before America. In the late 1400s, everything began to change. With them came new ambitions, new settlements, and unfortunately, new conflicts. Diseases unknown to the native people swept across the land, causing devastation. At the same time, explorers and settlers began carving out colonies. Tension rose until, in 1775, war broke out. In 1776, the colonies declared independence, stating boldly that all men were created equal and endowed with certain unalienable rights. The fight was long and brutal, but in 1783, the colonies won. A new nation was born, the United States of America. With independence came the difficult task of building a functioning government. After some early struggles, leaders drafted the U.S. Constitution in 1787, a document that established a balanced system of government with three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. George Washington became the first president, setting important precedents for the years to come. Americans dreamed of expansion, of moving west across the vast wilderness. This idea, called Manifest Destiny, encouraged settlers to travel across mountains and plains. New states were active. Farmers, merchants, and ordinary men took up arms against one of the most powerful empires in the world. This conflict became known as the American Revolutionary War. In 1776, the colonies declared independence, stating boldly that all men were created equal and endowed with certain unalienable rights. The fight was long and brutal, but in 1783, the colonies won. A new nation was born, the United States of America. With independence came the difficult task of building a functioning government. After some early struggles, leaders drafted the U.S. Constitution in 1787, a document that established a balanced system of government with three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. George Washington became the first president, setting important precedents for the years to come.
But the young nation was restless. Americans dreamed of expansion, of moving west across the vast wilderness. This idea, called Manifest Destiny, encouraged settlers to travel across mountains and plains. New states were added one by one. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 doubled the size of the nation. Conflict with indigenous tribes increased as settlers pushed westward. The Mexican-American War of 1846 brought the Southwest California, Arizona, New Mexico, into U.S. control. Yet beneath the surface was a deep division: slavery. The northern states gradually rejected slavery, while the southern economy depended heavily on it. Political compromises temporarily held the nation together, but tensions kept rising. One by one, they seceded and formed the Confederate States of America. In 1861, the United States was torn apart by the Civil War, the deadliest conflict in its history. Brothers fought against brothers, towns were burned, countless lives were lost. After 4 years of bloodshed, the Union emerged victorious. Slavery was abolished through the 13th Amendment, but the wounds of war ran deep, and the struggle for equality was far from over. After the Civil War, the nation entered a period of rebuilding known as Reconstruction. Meanwhile, industries began to rise. Railroads connected the East to the West. Steel mills, factories, oil companies, and banks transformed the economy. Immigrants from Europe poured into cities, seeking opportunity. America became a land of innovation. Electricity, telephones, automobiles changing daily life forever. By the early 1900s, the United States was ready to take a larger role in world affairs. In 1917, it entered World War I, helping bring the conflict to an end. After the war, the nation experienced cultural change: jazz music, movies, skyscrapers, and new social freedoms. But this progress was shaken by the Great Depression of 1929, when the economy collapsed and millions lost their jobs. Recovery was slow. And then, in 1941, everything transformed again. Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, drawing the U.S. into World War II. American soldiers fought across Europe and the Pacific, and the nation's factories produced weapons, planes, and supplies. By 1945, victory was achieved, but at great cost. The war ended with the United States emerging as a global superpower and the world entering a new era.
From 1945 to 1991, the U.S. competed with the Soviet Union in the Cold War. This wasn't a direct battlefield war, but a global struggle involving politics, technology, and ideology. The two superpowers competed in the space race, leading to the moon landing in 1969. They also clashed indirectly in wars like Korea and Vietnam. Inside the U.S., the civil rights movement fought to end racial segregation and discrimination for ever-changing American society. In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed and the United States stood as the world's sole superpower. The nation entered a new era of technology, globalization, and political complexity. But new challenges soon emerged. After the September 11th attacks in 2001, the U.S. entered long wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, reshaping American foreign policy for decades. In recent years, the United States has faced modern struggles, political division, economic change, debates over immigration, tensions with emerging global powers, and the rapid rise of technology and social media. The COVID-19 pandemic brought new challenges, testing the resilience of the nation. And yet, despite all the conflict, innovation, hardship, and triumph, the United States remains one of the most influential countries on Earth, shaped by countless cultures, driven by ambition, and defined by its continuous struggle to live up to the ideals it declared in 1776: freedom, equality, and opportunity.